Hello, ladies and gents, it's Max again. After the very incredible race of the Daytona 24, which we ended up in P7, I decided to do a little track guide around the Long Beach Street Circuit in the LMDH, because the IMSA series is running this week, and I thought I'd like to give the LMDH a bit more, love, so to speak, and do a little bit more on the LMDH, and so I thought maybe it's helpful for you guys to have a guide around this track because the LMDH is pretty much different to the LMP2 and it can be very tricky. And there's a few tips and tricks in this video too that I share. And yeah, if you like the video, you know the deal, hit the thumbs button. It helps a lot. And without further ado, here's the lap. Okay, so as always, I do want to start off with the lap out of my cockpit perspective and with the inputs that you can see down here. For this particular track, it's very important to get the last corner correct. That's why I decided to show you how I do it here too. So basically, you want to go from very much to the outside towards the inside. I know people use the complete outside here to get on the on the fast lap, but actually with the LMDH, especially the second lap is the fastest, so it doesn't really, it's not necessary, you know. It's just you have to make sure that you stick just below that 80% threshold out of the corner to not have the hybrid system boosting too much in. So that is very important here. So only as you hit the steering wheel straight, then it's where you want to go below that 80% so that the hybrid system kicks in. And now the uncommentated lap. Okay, so here we are in the commentating lap from the chase position. This was a 109.9 and it was on 21-degree track temperature, so I'm pretty happy with the result because the race servers are mostly around 19-degree track temperature, which should give you an extra of maybe 1 or 2 tenths, and then that would be fine. Plus, I didn't hit the exit of the last corner correctly because I screwed with my cables here and I disconnected the audio from my device. So that was a bit of a mess, but I will get to that later. So let's just start off. You go to the inside line here towards the red one. You don't want to overdo it because you see that the walls on the inside are not straight and there's some weird bumps due to whatever reason on the inside, and that can unsettle the car quite a bit. So you want to just match the red line, tuck out in the middle lane, then go over here, and you have a braking spot here, which is actually pretty easy to find. I personally think it's you have this line that goes over here, and you have this white line ending right there, and it's somewhere right in between, like in the middle of this thing. That's where you ideally brake into the first corner. On the cockpit perspective, if you are on the ultra wides monitors and the 95 FOV, it's exactly when the 5 board starts to vanish on my far right. That's exactly the moment I hit the brakes, and as always, pretty hard braking here. I hit 90% initially, decreasing it fastly. It's the formula type style of braking, that's what we need. So keeping it, you see I just lose it a little bit in the moment I tuck the wheel in, so I get that little bit of extra load to the front right tires. Then try to not overcut the curb on the inside because that unsettles the car. You just want to make sure to exactly hit that spot. It's a perfect 90-degree corner. Early on throttle, make sure to just, like, out of each corner with the LMDH, you have to try to be below that 80% threshold in the first place, because if you're above that, it will easily snap on you. So that's what you don't want to see. And just put full throttle as soon as you're having your steering wheel in a straight way, so to speak. Then go all the way to the right hand side. Braking point for this is very much feeling like I can't actually give you a point, so to speak, where I feel I have to brake. It's just literally my feeling that I do. There's no real point, so that's some trial and error for you. Don't hit the brakes too hard here. To not unsettle the car. Go on the right hand side. You saw it, I just clipped the curb a little bit on the inside to help get that extra rotation. You could see it here. Then once again, very important here, to not have to snap because you have weight transfer in the car. You don't want to hit the 80% and the beyond bar. You just want to, like, I was a little bit over it. You can hear it. It just, let me increase the volume real quick. It just did a little bit of a snap on the outside, but it was handleable. You heard it, right? It was a little bit of travel through. When you go 100% throttle at this position, you just spin because you have too much steering in the corner. In the moment you decide to go back on throttle, you see, like, I am above 90 degree here. For a brief moment, and if I would go way beyond that, it would just spin me to the right hand side. So that's not what I want to do. I want to have the car pretty straight lined, and you see I correct it a little bit because it actually gives the extra boost a little bit. But that's fine because you have to go a little bit to the left hand side, so that's okay. Then once again, soft and early braking point. Like, I only hit the brakes about 30% in this one. And it's from third to second gear here. Same thing with the curbing here again. You don't want to go all the way above it because that unsettles the car too much. You just want to hit it in the right angle. Then stick below 60-70% on throttle. Make sure to not hit the outside wall, because once you're in there, you won't get out of it because it always pushes you to the right hand side and the car just won't get to the right. It's just tragic. Then once again, soft braking point, 40-50%ish, small, a bit of rolling into the corner, and try to avoid that inside curb. I know you can do that in the GT cars to get over this, but in the LMPs it's not worth it because it unsettles the car too much. Just make sure you hit exactly that sweet spot around that inside double tuck thingy, whatever you want to call it. Then again, you have pretty much grip in out of this corner, so you can go flat early. You saw it lost it a little bit, but it was fine, it was handleable. Right around the 240 meter board here is where the braking point is. Also again, pretty harsh initial braking, around 65-70%ish. Hold it, try braking into the corner, decreasing it slowly. Do avoid the inside, of course, and the apex, and go on throttle again. Have to be careful here because you go over a crest on the outside, so not too much throttle. Only as you're straight again. Then 250 meter board again, brake hard, around 50-55%ish. Go into the right hand side. You can't fully clip this inside here, it won't give you an off track or anything. Make sure to avoid the inside wall. And there you have this little bump that you see that I went through, and that is exactly helping to rotate the car on the right hand side. Same thing again with the throttle. Pretty straightforward here. The 420 meter around that is where you want to hit the brakes. Pretty hard braking again because we're fast here. We're coming with 260, so you want to have a hard braking zone. You see the decreasing brake pedal position. Try braking a lot into the corner. Do not overshoot this corner with the curbings too, because it will just, you see it here, it unsettles the car a little bit. If you go too much over it, and it will just move you to the outside and you will end up in the wall. Then shortly to third gear and go down in speed over the curbs, down to first from all the way on the outside. Not ideally hit. That was exactly the moment where I had my full locked in here and I just lost my connection to the audio, so that's why I fucked this a bit up. Could have been way more on throttle already. Was just a bit irritated. And then it was a 101.9, which is fair enough. Optimal would have been a 0.6. I guess I lost a tenth maybe in the last corner, so it would have been a 0.8. That's fine, that's a quality lap around Long Beach.